Okay, from the middle of the sunny evening in winter in Jamaica, we are going to speak to Nekesha how to launch yourselves and how to launch one's picture and one's business in the middle of the pandemic online and be a freelancer. How would it work out? Nekesha, could you please introduce yourself and what you do for business?
Hi, my name is Nekesha, and I'm an entrepreneur who has recently transitioned to offering my business online.
So my first question here is why did you decide to do that?
Oh, wow. The pandemic had closed down the tourism industry here in Jamaica, and that's the industry that I've worked in for almost 20 years. So, right after that happened, I started brainstorming and what am I going to do, to keep myself being productive. And I found out then that there was this huge market in the virtual marketplace for services that I have a skill set on. So that's when I did the transition to now offering operation support and management support online.
So my question here, like you did trust yourself and your experience much enough. Like how much experience and what kind of experience did you think would help you launch this business?
You know what? I went in running basically. So I took a bunch of courses to make sure that I was actually ready because we are thinking about running a business for somebody else. I'm not doing it for me now. So I actually took a bunch of courses and I found out that there were lots of options. And I just went in doing that. I brought my skill set and my professionalism, and it's been a success ever since.
And what challenges have you faced so far? Like being able to launch your service online, of course, it is not an easy process.
You know what? It depends on the mindset that you have and also the support. I was lucky because I started with a huge group support. And because of that, it was a kind of easier getting into it and feeling comfortable. But I mean, the first couple jobs, it's a little bit tedious because you doubt yourself. You doubt what the success of the project is and how the person is going to feel. But as soon as you get into it, it's like breeze. It's like working for yourself.
And how do you feel about it now? Like, do you feel you are in the correct position?
You know what? It has, listen, I'm on a journey, Noor, and it's basically kind of shifted me 180 because I find out now I didn't know I was so creative. I can really do some cool stuff. And I've learned a lot since I started my transition, and I'm bringing people on with me. I'm building a network. So right where I am now is where I want to be, and I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going where it flows.
So you were able to launch yourself like and your own picture and your own brand online. How much would you recommend that for other people?
That is super important because myself, if I'm going to be a buyer, I tend to buy what I see and I buy personality and I buy character. So I think it's very important for a person not just to be speaking to you over the phone, but actually be able to see you and see stuff that you believe in, where your headspace is, and try to build up on your character from them. So I think that's very important to show who you are as much as you can online.
You mentioned that you are creative much enough to be able to sustain your online business. So you have, let's say, discovered that or knew that about yourself once you have been online. Like, what about other people? Like maybe they have these hidden skills and hidden knowledge, and they don't know it about don't know about it until they launch themselves.
Definitely. Listen, I have a group of over 100 freelancers, and they didn't start out as freelancers. They started out asking me how to this one thing. Okay, you know what I always tell people? I have a group of over 100 freelancers. They did not start out as freelancers. They started out asking me how they can offer their services online and what skills they have. And you know the coolest thing about it? I started by saying to them, what is that one thing that your family or your friends are always calling you about? What is
Okay.
that one thing that people are always calling you to help them to fix? I said, chances are that is your skill set. And I opened up a can of worms because then they realized, some of them realized they were really good writers. Some people are really good at data entry, at telephone calls, just having a conversation. And we've birthed a lot of social media managers out of that because a lot of people are on their phones hours per day and they're not monetizing from it. So Your skill set is not something for you to think too deep about. This just that one thing that you're good at, and then find yourself in a community of like-minded people, individuals like our group, and there are many groups out there who will help you and push you on and cheer you on, and then you can always build on it. I always say make Google and YouTube your best friend, because anything that you don't know, you can learn right there.
So how much is networking and, like linking with like-minded people, especially at this hard time, the pandemic?
It's so easy because people are actually out there seeking other individuals who are talking about the same topics that they're talking about. So if you're on Facebook and your niche is marketing, just type in marketing groups. Join a couple groups and stay silent for a day or two and see what they're talking about. And if it fits your niche or what you're looking for, that's where your connections start. And it's pretty easy to do. It's all about networking, but going out on a limb, you have to make the decision and have the mindset that this is something that I want to do. Freelancers is not, it's not for everybody, but it's for people who are really hungry and you want to spend time. You can manage your own time as well. Because remember, you're working mostly from home. All of us are working remotely, but you have to be able to manage yourself. You don't have a boss over you anymore. You're your own boss now. So you can't be on Facebook for the whole day if you have a project to do in 2 hours, you understand? So if your mindset is right and it's something that you're hungry to do and you have a skill that you have fun doing, why not make money from it?
So my other question here, like you mentioned, like getting in with other people and being self-disciplined and all of these, like these hard skills that they are not easy to do. So,
Right.
like how much is it difficult to push oneself out of the comfort zone and out of like the usual or the traditional point of view of work? You go
Well,
to a certain place, you do certain hours, and then you're safe. It's over.
mhm. Well, for that, it's for some people, it's in the proof of concept. And that's why I said it's good to find yourself in a community of people who are talking about their experiences. Because if you, even if you have a 9 to 5 now, right, it doesn't mean that you're happy in your 9 to 5. Probably you want to do voiceovers. You have a beautiful voice. And you'll find yourself in a group or in a community of people who are talking about this. And you just put yourself out on a limb and try one time. Now, if you like it, it's something that you can build on. And the minute you start making money from something that you love, you are not going to stop doing it.
So my other question here, like, where do you draw the line between like, self-realization and this kind of, like finding yourself and doing something you love, and let's say the related challenges to this business, like maybe there are financial, time bound, like self-discipline and a lot of these challenges.
Listen, it's a process. For me, a year ago, if somebody told me to do this, I would tell them go away. I wouldn't even think about it because I love going out. I love dealing with my clients face to face. And I was in a safe zone. The tourism sector for me was safe. I would never have thought about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, if your situation right now and your back is against the wall and financially you have no choice, you will go out there and do it. If you're also already in a job and you're financially stable, but you still want to do something extra, what do you have to lose? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just about you putting yourself out there if you feel like it. If this is something that seems like an interest to you, it can be a starter. If you're just coming out of college, why not try to do something like that if you have nothing else, planned right now, and you can have an income, two, three, $400 a week if you're not pushing yourself. It's about you having the opportunity to choose the projects that you want to do. You choose the people you want to work with, because remember, you're a freelancer. You decide what you want to do, and you just try it out. It's worth a try, just as you would try working at anywhere else. At the end of the day, all you need is a laptop, internet, and a mindset that's ready to go. Now, everybody literally has that.
Okay, so my question here, like, okay, in the usual way of work, like people are safe, people are secure, they do their jobs, they get the money, and then everything is done. But online, it's your own picture, it's your own brand. How do you receive, let's say, criticism?
From well, you know what, Nora? I'm 40 years old. I I kind of don't care, but I seriously though, remember when you're working online, you're working one-on-one with a client, individual clients. And once you let me put it another way. Once you let a client know that you're taking on their business as your own and you're genuine to it and you're showing absolute professionalism, I have not had an experience of, a naysayer or kind of disrespect from a client. As far as online is concerned, I don't care. I really don't care much about what happens online because everyone has their own opinion on there. And that's what we have to understand. If we're going to put ourselves out there, people are going to have their opinion. You have to stay grounded within yourself. And that's why people in my group, what I start them with is introspection. So if you have self love, and if you're speaking positivity to yourself every single day in affirmations, nothing anyone else out there has to say about you would affect you because you build this kind of broad back mentality where you're so confident about yourself and the service that you're going to give that what people say will probably nudge you to do better, but it still won't break you. You know what I mean?
So my other question is like, how much growth and how much, let's say, brain development or mind development and, like self-confidence, I mean, in a positive sense, do people need to be able to sustain their own image, like in the front of customers online?
Always. It is so important, and people probably wouldn't understand this. You don't get a day to break away from the brand that you're building because at the end of the day, this is now the face of your business. Your face becomes your business, and your business needs to be your purpose and speak about what you're given. So whether you have a website or a page or you're just speaking one-on-one with persons, you have to be accountable for what you promise to give. So it's always being presentable, always being professional, always being accountable and on time. And your brand will build and speak on itself because what's going to happen after a while is referrals. All that's going to happen is people, you're literally going to be running from customers because everybody's going to want to work with this really nice person who takes their business as their own and literally stays up at night to make sure that what they promise they're going to deliver gets done.
Of course, so the internet and the online gave you like a press, a way to build a business, give
Right.
your own image, and let's say launch yourself. Like how
Right.
much opportunity, how much space does the internet open for people, especially young people?
Listen, for young people, there's not enough space out there for them. What I would like them to think about, the first thing you need to think about for coming on the internet, if you want to come in that type of space, is always identify for yourself your weaknesses and your strengths. That's very important. And identify a niche market that speaks to you. So if you're a writer, you don't want to be, in a casual market. You don't want to be in clothing and textiles. You find a niche that speaks to you, that is true to you. So when you get out there, this is something that you can actually speak on. And for youngsters, they are so creative. They have no idea what's out there for them. So the virtual marketplace has kind of shifted because people who used to have business that had no websites, everybody needs to be seen now in the virtual marketplace because that's where consumers are. So if you ever thought about launching your own product, it's the best time to do it. If you ever thought about starting your own business, it doesn't matter what you want to do, the place for you to launch yourself is in the virtual marketplace because that's where consumers are. So for every youngster that's coming out, even if you're just going to, you want to be an attorney or an accountant, just present your brand in the virtual marketplace because that's where you're going to get the businesses from. LinkedIn is crazy in that sense when it comes to business development. When people don't understand how to use these platforms, but they're there for you to use them. That's where you network. That's where you build your brand and stay true to yourself.
So let's say, what are your main recommendations for, let's say, young people, fresh graduates, people who are, like, let's say, dreaming about starting their own businesses?
Okay, well, the first thing you have to do is choose your niche market. What do you want to start with? Even if you're majoring in a whole bunch of stuff, just start small, choose one thing that you're really good at right now. You don't have to be great because there are mentors out there who will guide you along. And once you do that, start doing your own research on where you're going to start because there are platforms all over for you to start. There are platforms that you can start on right now to do transcription in other languages. So don't think it's just going to be English or French, because no matter what you learn in school or you learn in the virtual marketplace, there's somebody out there who wants it. The first thing you have to sit down and do is identify a problem that a consumer has, and you create a solution for that problem. And that's how you present yourself in the virtual marketplace. Okay. And just keep going. Start small, baby steps, start a project, and then you keep perfecting it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Join groups that you're gonna get support from, because that is very important.
So my last question is here is, tell us what the main dish is in Jamaica and how do you cook it?
Jamaica is so diverse. Listen, there's a lot. I wish I could ship you some. Ackee and saltfish is something that's on everybody's tongue. That's a fruit. That's our national dish, and it's you kind of mix it with codfish, so it's kind of salty. But people say it looks like egg. I've cooked it for friends, overseas, and they say it looks like egg, but it's a taste that you just can't get from your palate. And jerk chicken, if you love spicy, you're all the way over there. And I know that your culture, you kind of love spice. So I know you would love me some jerk chicken. I'd love to cook you some of that. But we're pretty diverse with that. But those are the main two things, apart from curry goats. If you love curry, we do a whopper wicked curry goat and stuff like that for you.
It has been more than amazing and more than delicious talking to you, Nekesha, today. Thank you so much for that indeed.
Sure. It's been my pleasure. And thank you so much for inviting me. And anybody can connect with me anytime for advice. I am here for all you, and that's what I do.